Today is the day after an 18-month investigation, the country will finally see the special counsel's report on Russia and President Trump. The Mueller report just hours away from being released. What will the redacted version reveal about obstruction of justice and why it's already sparking a backlash? Democrats taking aim at the Attorney General and his plan to brief the country before he hands over the document.
Breaking overnight, the dramatic rescue, the hero diver who helped save that Thai soccer team getting trapped in a dangerous Tennessee cave, the hours-long race to save him, and the elite diver who finally found him. Now that rescuer is joining us on GMA.
Violent storms hit the heartland overnight. 4 reported tornadoes tear across Texas and severe hailstorms pounding multiple states. Now nearly 100 million Americans on alert as that system moves east for the holiday.
Also overnight, a man arrested at St. Patrick's Cathedral carrying gasoline cans, lighter fluid, and lighters, just days after Notre Dame went up in flames.
ABC News exclusive. For the first time, a chilling 911 call from a 17-year-old who saved her 12 siblings from torture in their home.
My parents are they abuse us, and my 2 little sisters right now are chained up.
Her desperate plea only on GMA this morning.
And Alex Trebek's message as he battles pancreatic cancer. And overnight, the history-making moment, the contestant soaring to new heights, breaking his own record.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And we do say Good Morning America, and it was great to hear from Alex Trebek that he's doing as well as he is. He's so appreciative of the outpouring of love and support, especially, he said, from the younger fans who are reaching out to him.
I know, my children are so rooting for him. We watch Jeopardy every night, so it was so fun as the season wraps up to have this. James won almost $700,000. He's amazing to watch.
It's fun to watch.
Alex has shown such grace in all of this. We are going to begin in Washington, where the White House, Congress, and the press all bracing for the public release of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report. That's the Justice Department right there. Attorney General William Barr expected to send his edited version to Congress later this morning, and Democrats already blasting his decision to brief the White House and hold a press conference before Congress and the public can see the report. Our senior congressional correspondent Mary Bruce starts us off. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, there is outrage and frustration here in Washington this morning. The release of the Mueller report has been nearly 2 years in the making, and now with just hours to go until that redacted version is finally made public, there is a new political fight about the rollout. Democrats overnight accusing the Attorney General of doing the president's partisan bidding, and now this morning they are demanding that Barr cancel his press conference. Attorney General Bill Barr this morning set to come before cameras to discuss the redacted version of the Mueller report before lawmakers and the public have even seen it. Democrats are fuming, questioning the Attorney General's independence. The chairman of the House Judiciary Committee accusing Barr of waging a media campaign on behalf of the president.
Attorney General Barr is not allowing the facts of the Mueller report to speak for themselves, but is trying to bake in the narrative about the report to the benefit of the White House.
Barr has promised transparency, but just a week ago he told Congress he couldn't discuss the report further until it was made public for all to see.
I'm not going to say anything more about it until the report is out and everyone has a chance to look at it.
Democrats are also concerned that the president was given a heads up. As ABC was first to report, the White House has been briefed, but only on the broad strokes of the report, something the president hinted at in a radio interview announcing today's press conference.
You'll see a lot of very strong things come out tomorrow. Attorney General Barr is going to be giving a press conference. Maybe I'll do one after that. We'll see.
And George, Democrats are now taking things a step further. In a statement just now, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi say that Barr's handling of this report has led to a crisis of confidence in his independence. And they say the only way to restore the public's trust in this investigation is for Mueller himself to come and testify before Congress as soon as possible, George.
Okay, Mary, thanks very much for bringing our chief legal analyst, Dan Avers. And Dan, let's begin with this fight over how it's going to be released right now. It is unusual for the Justice Department to go out and do a press conference before they put out the underlying documents.
Well, for 2 reasons. First of all, because typically the way this works is when the Justice Department has an announcement, they take a document, they release it either beforehand or at the time of their press conference, and then they answer questions. Here, no one's going to be able to see it. And the second point is that, there's an argument to be made that he's going to explain the process. He's going to talk about how he did what he did, except He's already explained that to us. I mean, we've heard it in congressional testimony. He's explained the color coding, the 4 areas of redactions. There's nothing new about how he's going to go about the process that we could learn from a press conference.
What will be new today is what we learn about what evidence Robert Mueller found about obstruction of justice and why he chose not to make a prosecutorial decision.
Right. 3 key things I'm looking for here. Number 1 is what is the evidence of obstruction that led Robert Mueller to say, I can't exonerate? Number 2, we know that Robert Mueller concluded that there's no evidence of a conspiracy with the Russians.
No evidence. He couldn't establish a conspiracy.
He couldn't establish, that's fair. He could not establish a case that there is a conspiracy to influence the election with the Russians. But that doesn't mean that there weren't conversations with the Russians. It doesn't mean that the Russians, as we know, did outreach. What was the response? There's a lot of detail there still to come. And for me, the most important legal question is going to be, did Robert Mueller cite the Office of Legal Counsel opinion that you can't indict a sitting president when deciding not to decide?
And that would suggest he wanted this to be turned over to Congress.
Correct. And not that he was not punting this to Attorney General Barr, but that he was saying, in effect, look, I can't indict him anyway. That would be a very important statement from Robert Mueller.
You'll be here all day to analyze. Dan Abrams, thanks very much, Robin.
I know you'll be standing by to anchor a special report for us, George. Now that breaking news overnight, that dramatic rescue, the diver that was trapped in a Tennessee cave has been saved. We're going to hear from the man who got him out in a moment, but first, let's go to Steve Osunsami, who's there on the scene in Jackson County, Tennessee. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, Robin. Cave diving is one of the most dangerous things to do on the planet. The entrance to this cave is underwater, and the divers use a thin type of rope to guide themselves in and out of the caves, and this diver lost his. This morning, it's the rescuer who needed rescuing. British diver Josh Bratchley, one of the most elite cave divers in the world, was trapped inside this Tennessee cave for more than 36 hours. Bratchley walked out alive, refusing medical treatment. Bratchley is usually the one doing the rescuing. Last summer, he was part of the same team of divers that helped a soccer team escape from a cave in Thailand. He spoke about the experience on Good Morning Britain.
The relief when we emerged as well to find that the kids were safe was just amazing.
He went missing Tuesday afternoon while diving in a cave about an hour outside Nashville. Divers who were in the cave with him searched for hours but couldn't find him. Local authorities called a specially trained diver to help. The cave in Gainesboro, Tennessee is about 400 feet long from front to end, with water roughly 40 feet deep. Temperatures are around 55 degrees, and there are air pockets inside the cave. They found the lost diver in one of them that was quite large. They were hoping against hope to find him alive, and they did. For most people, this type of experience would be somewhat instructive, but this diver says he is already planning to dive again. Amy?
Steve Osunsami, thank you. Let's bring in diver Ed Sorensen, who rescued Bratchley. Ed, thanks for being with us this morning. And if you can, tell us exactly how you found Josh and how you got him out safely.
Thanks for having me. It was difficult. It was low, silty, dangerous. The line was broken. The only way that a diver would have to fall out, so it was quite a difficult task just finding him.
And where did you find him, and can you tell me what his reaction was when he saw you?
He was up in an air pocket. That's where we were hoping he was if there was any chance for his survival. And when I first breached the surface, I was looking directly at him. And it was a fairly big air pocket. He was about 12 feet away, and he just said, "Thank you, thank you."
And the interesting thing for us laymen who know nothing really about diving or cave systems, to have such an experienced diver get trapped like this, what were the threats he was facing, and how does something like that happen to someone like him?
Well, in any cave, the guideline to the surface, if things go wrong, that's your only way home. So when he got lost off the line, and it's just feet of pure silt. So one slip and the visibility goes from whatever you had to nothing in the blink of an eye. So once he got off the line, there was really no chance for him.
And Ed, I know, as I mentioned, you've done rescues like this, but what is it like to rescue a fellow diver and someone who has spent much of his life rescuing others? Was it more special, or just give me a sense of what it felt like for you personally?
Well, rescues are very, very rare. So anytime I can bring somebody home back to their family and not in a bag, it's a great day. So when I first surfaced and after he thanked me, I started asking him questions, how he was, what his health was like, and he just looked at me and he said, "I'm not used to being on this end of the rescue."
Well, thank goodness you were there on the other end. Ed Sorensen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Wow. Yes. Glad he had exactly the temperament you'd want for someone to come and rescue you, right?
Doing the job.
Yeah. Doing the job. We have that new round of severe storms that are heading east after hitting the middle of the country overnight with giant hail and reported tornadoes. Ginger is here, has the latest for us. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Robin. At least 135 severe storm reports, including this tornado in Oklahoma. That is just one of the impacts that we're going to be looking for today as these storms move east. Look, this morning we've already had severe storms as far east as northwestern Louisiana. Overnight, 7 tornadoes reported in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Sirens blaring as one tornado tore into the northeast panhandle of Texas, reportedly crossing the state line into Oklahoma. The twister shredding homes in Shattuck. One home demolished, the roof collapsed. Luckily, no injuries reported. But with this round of severe storms, golf ball to baseball-sized hail across the plains. In Alvord, Texas, drivers inching along a highway, hail pelting their cars. Others waiting out the storm at a gas station, watching as those destructive balls of ice plummet to the ground. Blinding rain, flash flooding in parts of Kansas, too.
And you can't see 10 feet ahead of you. You couldn't see where you were going.
In Oklahoma, lightning illuminating the night sky. The storm delaying at least 350 flights, canceling 40 others. And more than 100,000 customers in Texas alone are now without power. So as this line marches east, I'll show you who needs to be on alert today. It is all going to come from that same low, the cold front extending from Tennessee down into the Gulf Coast. So New Orleans, Biloxi, Montgomery, Jackson, all in that elevated risk area. It doesn't stop today. This is actually going to move on Good Friday to a lot of the nation. I-95 from South Carolina to Florida, George.
It is going to be some weekend. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to go overseas now to new tension with North Korea. This morning, the regime there is calling for Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to be replaced right on the heels of a new weapons test, their first public test since the failed summit in Hanoi. Our chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz is in Washington with all the latest. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, George. This morning, that North Korean official calling Pompeo ridiculous and reckless and demanding he be replaced. Pompeo and the administration, of course, keeping those tough sanctions in place until the North gets rid of its nuclear weapons. But this comes as North Korea announced that Kim Jong-un observed the testing of what they called a new guided tactical weapon that has, quote, very weighty significance. A tactical weapon is generally a short-range conventional battlefield weapon. This was not a ballistic missile test that could threaten the United States, but it is certainly a warning that it is business as usual in North Korea and is a reminder that the North has not even begun to denuclearize nearly a year after the first summit in Singapore. Robin?
Keeping that in mind. All right, Martha, thank you. Now to that arrest at St. Patrick's Cathedral here in New York overnight. A man was stopped entering the church carrying 2 gasoline cans, lighter fluid, and lighters. Gio Benitez is there, has the latest for us. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Robin, good morning. Yeah, it was a scary headline overnight. That man walking into this cathedral carrying gallons of gasoline and, like you said, lighters, but he was quickly taken into custody. Now, authorities say 37-year-old Mark Lamparello tried to enter the church around 8 p.m. Wednesday night with, like you said, 2 red canisters of gasoline, 2 bottles of lighter fluid, and 2 butane lighters. He was stopped and questioned by church security and claimed he was trying to cut through the building to get to his van, which he says was out of gas. But the vehicle vehicle was not out of gas. It was parked outside. Police say there's no immediate terror connection. Lamparello has been arrested twice before in New Jersey. But again, this church is open, but it is on high alert, Rob.
Good thing that he was spotted. All right, Gio, thanks so much. Amy?
All right, Robin, and of course this all comes just days after that devastating fire at Notre Dame Cathedral this morning. The hero chaplain who helped save the Crown of Thorns is speaking out, and foreign correspondent James Longman is there in Paris with the latest. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Amy. Well, they are now planning to move Easter celebrations to 2 other major churches here. But on this Easter week, the religious community is breathing a definite sigh of relief at just how many religious relics were saved. As a city and nation begin to rebuild their history, stories of heroism rise from the ashes. French officials now say Notre Dame was just 15 to 30 minutes away from total collapse, if not for the bravery of firefighters who beat the flames away from the famous bell towers. Inside, as the roof fell around them, the brave crusaders who rushed in to save some of Christianity's most important relics, including the crown of thorns, believed to have been worn by Jesus. And this morning, the hero chaplain who helped save the artifact is speaking out. The goal of this action was to preserve this extraordinary relic, this world heritage. As the iconic spire came crashing down to the cathedral floor, Reverend Jean-Marc and his team broke into the area holding the famed crown. They found a staffer who quickly unlocked its container and got it to safety. Once we got permission, we rushed to the cathedral, and during this time, we arrived and we saw that the other team was already there. They've already broken the protection of the reliquary, and they found an attendant who had the code and who managed to take the crown of thorns out. Now, ahead of Easter Sunday, the sound of solidarity. At 6:50 yesterday evening, across France, church bells rang for their beloved cathedral as she sits, still unable to return their call. Well, most experts think it will take at least 10 years to rebuild this place, and it has, of course, devastated Paris. But Easter celebrations with their themes of renewal and rebirth will have a special significance this year for sure. Guys.
Well put, James. Thank you. Okay, Amy's very happy about this. This new Jeopardy record overnight. Reigning champ, what's his name? James
Holzhauer.
Oh gosh, he set a new single game milestone with Amy and her family watching, winning a whopping $131,127, breaking the record he set just last week. And we're also hearing a new message from Alex Trebek, the beloved longtime Jeopardy host, updating fans on his battle with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, sharing his thanks as he wraps up the 35th season of Jeopardy. He's vowing he'll be back.
I'm feeling good. I'm continuing with my therapy. And the staff, is already working on our next season, the 36th year of Jeopardy. So I look forward to seeing you once again in September with all kinds of good stuff.
Good stuff.
Looks good.
He looks great.
He looks great.
But as you said, he's handling everything with such grace, and the way he continues to put out these messages of thanks really says something about his character.
It is good to see. You're right. We're following a lot of other stories this morning, including this exclusive coming up. A chilling 911 call from the 17-year-old who escaped torture inside her own home. She called the police to save her 12 siblings.
And the mother who's suing a water park after her son died from a brain-eating amoeba. But first, let's go back to Ginger.
And we've got flooding in Minnesota and flooding to come for the weekend. So Easter weekend going to get saturated. You see St. Peter, Minnesota, that was a highway shut down because of a mudslide. You also had it in other parts of Minnesota and will on the East Coast this weekend. Let's get to the summer-like cities brought to you by Sherwin-Williams.
Bring color to life with the very best paint, only at your Sherwin-Williams store.
Feeling like a late May to early June day here on this Thursday. Temperatures will push into the upper 70s to lower 80s. There'll be some passing clouds, but we're going to stay dry for today. We're on weather alert tomorrow with a risk of some heavy rain as well as some high winds. 76 your high temperature for Friday. Look at this weekend, 70 on Saturday, maybe a spotty early shower, and then just a spotty shower possible Sunday morning. The high for Sunday, 65 degrees. But weather alert for Good Friday.
Straight from the world's best plant scientists comes Miracle-Gro Performance Organics. It's Miracle-Gro's next big thing. Organic plant food and soil that finally work.